It just seems every moment is like a freaking eternity.
You have no idea.
All right. We're recording, I'm assuming.
Oh, we sure are.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Brent Abel, is that you?
C'est moi, monsieur, comment ça va?
Oh my goodness, it's that. I think that was French.
Not really. Some kind of cut up. It's probably some Russian and some Spanish thrown in there, maybe a little German.
Some mixed hybrid.
Yeah, it was just like,
Whatever.
and I don't even know what it means. I think it means, hey, how are you, dude? What's going on?
What's the haps, right? So
Yes.
Here we are, another episode. Gold ball hunting. Let's do some hunting today.
Okay, I got my shovel. I got my gold pan over there. I'm ready to go.
Good.
There's a little creek out here.
Got your big safari shorts on and your metal detector. The image, right?
Yeah. Well, I got the pith.
Okay.
I got the pith helmet going too.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
so the idea is this. Here's the statement. How much intel are you giving away with loose conversation on the changeover?
Loose conversation with my opponent.
Yeah. Or if it's doubles, with your partner in your opponent's earshot.
Yeah.
This is something that I've noticed when I'm on court teaching and blah, blah, blah. And I hear conversations when there's a USTA match or something going on. And I just hear all these little, in my head, I'm going, oh my gosh, don't say that. Oh my gosh, don't say that. So go ahead. I'll let you run with it.
Yeah, no,
I've got my own,
That's a really interesting thing that players do. And look, I mean, I'm as guilty as anyone where I can, after the point, I can show some form of negative emotion, or I can show something, or I can say something, and it just gives your opponents just a little boost, man. It just, and there's a million and one different ways that we can show things, that we can react a certain way, we can say things. Whether it's in singles, we can just say something. I mean, I can't even think of an example right now, but I mean, there's so many things that we say where if that guy says it, I actually turn around because I don't want him to see me going, yeah, baby.
Yes.
I don't want him to see that, right?
Right.
So I think that in the heat of competition, I used to be a complete moron out there. I mean, I swear to God, Jeff, I was just like, I was my own worst enemy in terms of how could I behave in a way that would make the next point, that would set up the next point in the worst possible mindset, and then I would give my opponent this boost of going, I'm feeling like $1,000,000 bucks right here. This is really a nice, warm and fuzzy feeling I've got.
Right.
And so, and I know that we do the same thing in doubles, where we react in ways, or maybe we say something to a partner, and it's just a dead giveaway. It's just a dead giveaway of where our mindset is. And now I'm going back to what you originally said. Like I sort of visualized that there was singles, and that I was in a changeover. And that my opponent and I were walking past each other, and well, I don't know if this is what you meant, but I was playing a league match the other day, maybe a month ago, and maybe we talked about this. But for the first 9/10 of the first set, I could not miss a ball.
Yeah.
I might have already shared this story. And then one of the guys, who I'd love to name him right now. In fact, if he's listening to this, he knows who he is. Bad boy. And he kept saying after I hit a good shot, he kept saying, and because we had played singles the day before, and this was a doubles, a league match. He said, "Well, boy, I'm sure glad that you weren't playing like this yesterday." Or
Right.
and then there was another time I hit a good return. He said, "Boy, I'm glad you weren't returning like this yesterday."
Right.
And then my wife eventually shows up at the end of the first set, and this guy goes, "Oh, I don't know what you fed him for breakfast, but he just can't miss a ball."
Right.
And the whole time I just want to tell him, "Shut up."
Right.
Just shut up. I mean, to me, it was.
Well, it was definitely gamesmanship, right?
Total.
He's trying to get into your head, so he's purposefully, giving you bait. He's hoping you're going to take the bait.
Yeah, and
right?
I didn't really take the bait. That was really, ironically, as you said before we started recording the session, you said, "Brent, get up because I can't sit there for 40 minutes because I've had a little chronic back issue," and that was in that match is when it really started to flare up. And we actually ended up losing the first set and the second set. Man, it was painful. So I'm not going to give him any credit that what he was saying actually had an effect.
Right.
But I don't know if that's where you're going with this topic.
Well, so I'll pipe in now.
Okay.
So especially in the again the league matches, whether it's day league or US, doesn't matter, but. So let's say the match is it's late morning, starting to get noonish or so. You're in Northern California. The sun hits a certain spot in the at the certain times of year.
Right.
And there it is. It's right in the wheelhouse when you want to hit your overhead.
Right.
Or you want to hit your serve. So how much complaining body language are you showing and verbally saying? Are you saying it loud enough for your opponents to hear? One, gosh, sorry, Brenny, the sun is really bothering me. And you say it loud enough for your opponents to hear.
Sure.
Awesome. So it's on the serve. So maybe on the serve, if I'm your opponent, I give you something else to look at. I change my position a little bit just before you toss. I do this. I'm looking to pile on here because you just gave me some intel that you're actually a little bit pissed, peeved, and frustrated.
Yeah. Oh, the triple P.
The sun's there, right? And then off the,
double P in that. Sorry.
Double, yeah, exactly. And then maybe you gaff an overhead, and it just comes out, damn it, son, or whatever.
Right.
Guess what's coming?
Right.
God, I'm just going to bury you with frustration, right? Because as long as I'm on the south end of the court, right? So that's one major one I always hear a lot of, the verbal letting your opponents know, and it happens on the changeover. Literally, they're in earshot, and you're telling your partner, gosh, Brent, the sun's really bright. I can't see the ball when the ball goes up for an overhead. Maybe you should keep that to yourself, right? But people, blah, 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 there it is. Another one I hear often, and we dabbled in this the other day, I think, and that is giving credit to your opponent when they didn't actually successfully make a shot. So the example is this. I'm at the net, you're serving, I do maybe a little fake poach, or maybe I fake and then I decide I'm going to make the move anyway. And the guy notices and he pulls the ball and tries to go down my line. And he hits one of the most spectacular forehands ever hit on the planet. But it hits the tape and doesn't go over. He had me, but he missed. Or he hits this beautiful ball, it screams past me and it goes wide by 1/2 inch. Beautifully struck ball,
right,
but he didn't make it. Why didn't he make it? Maybe it's a result because I was moving and he changed his mind a little bit and he went for glory and he missed. So I hear it all the time, though, where the person at the net will go, look at the opponent literally and say, oh, boy, you had me there. Great shot. And so internally, the person who actually won the point,
right,
is giving away the momentum and the emotional momentum to their opponent who actually didn't successfully make the shot.
Right.
The next fallout phrase is turning to the partner and saying, don't give him that one again.
Right.
And I look at that and I go, what, are you kidding? I'm going to turn to you, Brent, and go, no, hit it there again. I'm going to milk this guy with a fake again. Come on. I'd love you to squeeze another ball down the line and miss it by 1/2 inch again. I'll take that. I'll take that all day long.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at in this, is that the intel, we don't think we're doing anything bad, but we're actually like giving away information that is, maybe you strained a muscle. you sure you want to make that a public announcement?
Right. That's right.
So anyway, I don't know. Is there maybe there's something else in your thing? So that's just what that struck me as
Yeah, I just no, but I just think overall. I mean, I'm kind of blanking on. I mean, I'm trying to think of something last week down in Houston. But I just think we show frustration too. I think we show frustration.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And it's so common that when we do, we really build up our opponents.
Yeah.
We really build up our opponents. And even if you're the kind of person where you show frustration and maybe it doesn't bother you for the next points, you're still giving your opponents a boost. And that's not our job when we play tennis. Our job in tennis is to actually make our opponents feel uncomfortable, right? We actually play shots with certain spins to certain parts of the court that make them. Why would we give them something they want?
Right.
During the point, and then when the point's over, why would we actually then give them a little icing on the cake?
Yeah.
By going crazy. Now again, I'm going to condition this by saying I used to be a little bit in the bratty side from time to time, and so and I've gotten better. I'm not perfect. There's no question. I'm not perfect. I think I'm maturing. What am I, 70? I think I'm maturing, but maybe I got another 30 years.
Still got some time.
I figure by the time I get in the 100s, I'll probably be okay. So anyway, I would just encourage you that this is a good point that Jeff has brought up, that you really think about the stuff that you say. You really think about the body language that you project. And I think on the other hand too, is that when I see too much of this in league stuff now, where it's a 4-0 guy and he hits a good shot and there's this big, come on. I mean, a loud come on. And to me, it's like when you do that is you tell your brain, here's what we should be doing every time.
Right.
This is what I really like.
It's such an adrenaline boost.
Right.
That there has to be a crash after it.
Right.
And I think most players, I think it'd be an interesting charting to like chart a league match, and every time somebody gave it the let's say the over exuberant come on, way to blah blah blah, it would be interesting to find out how the next point went.
Yeah.
Are we successful or not? Did we miss the return? Did we chunk it because now we just think that we can just touch the ball and it's great, or whatever? But I think that's another one. So I'm gonna. One more thing is the wind, right? That's another one that everybody, no one really likes playing in the wind. I don't like it either. However, I've learned to become friends with it. And so I've found a way to enjoy it because I understand the dynamics of it. And so I make friends with it. And it reminds me of, I think it was the golfer Sam Snead, who always said he loved the way the greens were playing that day. Didn't matter if the greens were covered in leaves.
Right.
He wouldn't actually clean the leaves. He said, there's just as much a chance for the leaf knocking the ball in the cup as it is knocking it out of the cup. So he would just play. But his mindset was, whatever the condition was that day, it was his favorite. That was his mindset.
Right.
So I think tennis players can learn a lot from that, understanding that the condition is the condition that day.
Hey, look, I just think that we're all building up excuses in case we lose. I mean, we're all building the story. And this is one of the first common themes that we went through with a number of episodes when we first started this podcast was the story building. And so,
I'm just saying, keep it to yourself.
Absolutely.
And look like you're having a great time.
I just think if you think about why build up your opponent between points.
Right.
Even if you miss an easy, it's a total bonehead, easy, chunky volley you miss, okay. But don't give them a little extra juice at the end of it by going nuts or by going, God, the sun, or just like you said, the wind, Just as Mr. Stowe used to tell me, come on, Mr. Abel, just take it like a man. Oh, God. Okay.
Like a man.
Okay. All right.
Right. I think there's two players, I think, because I noticed that I was watching a highlight of Agassi last night, and it was multiple years of his career over these different, and it struck me, he does the exact same thing. as Rafa does, he would immediately, win or lose, he would immediately turn from the moment and walk away to the next side, whether he's going to return from the ad side or do so, whatever side of the court he needed to get to.
Right.
Like immediately, he wasted no time lingering.
Right.
And whether it was good or bad.
Right.
He would immediately walk to the other side, and you could just see he was processing, and he was like, next point, here we go.
Yeah.
And Rafa does that as well. He has his routine, obviously, that he goes through, but he immediately turns his back from a mistake or whatever's going on and immediately gets, he's moving on to the next. But Agassi was very quick to do it. So anyway, I think that's a habit that players at any level can get into, to physically, again, I've said this before, physically move yourself away from what just happened when the point's over and get on with it.
Yeah, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
It's time to reset for the next point. Okay, well, wow, that's one of your better ones, Jeff.
Wow, thank you.
That was kind of spur of the moment, too. That was really good. So, well, guys, listen, we're still offering a free 10-minute coaching call, and it's a private call, just the three of us, a three-way call. The way to get that scheduled is if you're not already on our email list, go over to goldballhunting.com. First name, email address, the standard stuff, right? Put it in there. Click the button. I can't remember what the button says. Submit or click here or something. And you'll get immediate access to our online calendar to schedule that 10-minute call where you can cherry pick your own date and time that works best for you. This is, again, your time. I mean, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know how to do this thing where we're now asking folks to reciprocate with the love. So take it away.
Little love.
Yes.
Little love. Like us. Please share us. Please subscribe. We got to build this up, and let us know what you think down below.
Outstanding. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. Get out there. Come on now. Get out there. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, let's do this again tomorrow.
Okay. Can't wait.